Okay, so our next speaker is going to talk about the library services at UB. UB has great library resources. I've used them quite a bit. And Liz Strelick is the head of the Health Sciences Library Services. And so I asked her to come and let everyone know about what she has available.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here. So, it's going to share my screen. Also, if anybody has any questions at any time, please feel free to just send them my way. I'm always happy to answer questions. All right, so I'm going to talk to you today about library resources and services. My name is Liz. So just for today's goals, we're going to talk about the different resources that are available, including all the different databases we have, as well as research guides. We have lots of research guides available on both literature searching as well as a lot of other topics, as well as we'll talk about some of the services that are available to you. So first things first, meet your librarians. All of these lovely people pictured here are all of the health sciences librarians. If there's one thing that you all take away from today is I would really love for you to reach out and meet your librarian. All of these people are extremely well versed in all things with literature searching, finding the information, critically appraising, and teaching the information as well. So they're wonderful partners in research, and I'll talk about the different ways we can also partner with you on instruction and research as well. But we have subject librarians across all the health sciences schools. In a moment, I'm going to talk about where you can find this information. But these people alone, they're your door to the libraries. Like, please reach out and contact them. Oh, I should also mention, not pictured here is Ophelia Mori, our community outreach librarian. So getting started, how do you get started? So first things first, you don't have to be on campus to access our library resources. If you go to library.buffalo.edu, that'll take you to the main library page. So if you're on campus or off campus, you'll need your UBIT name and password to access it. So the library resources are available 24 hours to access. So all of the slides I will have available for you afterwards, and you'll notice I have a lot of hyperlinks. One of the things that librarians like to do is we like to provide access to things. So I'm all about providing the information and access. So we have a guide here that in case you encounter any issues while you're trying to access our materials, there's a guide available to help you through those things. Typically, I find clearing your cache is key just from personal experience. And then mainly I'm going to focus today on talking about the health sciences at Abbott Library website. So this is just a part of the library website that is geared specifically towards students, faculty, staff, researchers within the health sciences. So I urge you, if you bookmark anything, you should bookmark this page. Um, I'm terrible at pulling down the chat, but I'm going to do it now. So there's the link for the specific health sciences page available in the chat. So from that page, you'll be able to find your subject librarian. We're all listed on the right-hand side of the page. In the center of the page, we have a drop-down menu of our top resources. So these are our most popular or highly used databases. Some of the databases you're probably familiar with already, such as Embase, Web of Science, Medline. We also link to PubMed from our list of top resources. And you might be wondering, why do you do that? Because it's a freely available site and database. The reason for that is if you connect to PubMed through the library website, PubMed will know that you're associated with the university and you'll have access to our full text subscriptions, which is key. And we'll talk a little bit more about actually getting to the full text in just a moment. So in addition to the databases that are listed there, you would think I would know by now how many are listed there, but it's a handful, like 10-ish or so. We have over 100 health sciences databases alone that we subscribe to. If you want to look at the full list of databases across all of the libraries, when you're on any library page on the upper left side, under Find, there's a menu there, and you can go to the database search or link to it from this slide, and you can see all of the different databases we subscribe to. So while the website is open 24 hours, the librarians that work in the library actually do sleep, so we're not technically available 24 hours. However, we do have a service called Ask a Librarian. So there's either a librarian that works here at UB, or we actually have a service we subscribe to where there's other librarians who are awake all hours of the night, and we can connect you to help through the chat service. So if you have questions at 2 in the morning because you're really on a roll with your research, but you're like, oh, Liz is sleeping, don't worry, there's someone there to help you. And if you do need me, you can either talk to that person through chat and they will connect you with the right person, or of course, there's always email. And then at the bottom of this list, one of my colleagues made this Getting Started with the Health Sciences resource guide. Pretty much everything I'm going to discuss today is available on that guide. There's links, there's videos, there's actually a glossary about what all the different terms that I'm using mean. And there's, of course, again, a list of all the subject librarians too. Okay, so research guides. We have a lot of research guides available. So pretty much we have our definition over here on the left. It's essentially a curated selection of resources and tools. And they're pretty much, if it's something you can think of, we have it. These over here on the right, these are a few guides of note. The clinical resources guide listed here at the top. This is the most highly used guide that we have across all of the institution. From there, you have your bedside point of care tools as well as deeper research tools. So definitely take a look at our clinical resources guide. You might be wondering like where UpToDate lives. It's on that guide. And we also have some guides available for research data management, which I'll talk more about, copyright questions, which I'm sure at some point you may have if you're doing research and publishing your research, open access publishing when you're looking for places to publish your research, consumer health resources, and then as well, if you're interested in doing systematic reviews, we have guides all about them. And so there's one there that's pretty much the basics about systematic reviews and how to get started. So as I mentioned before, while finding the information is super helpful, the most important is actually getting to the information. So I find that oftentimes people will do the literature search and where they get stuck is actually getting to that final PDF or full text. If you're doing research, I'm sure at some point or another in your life where you're looking for the literature, you might come across where you find the perfect article and you get there and it's like $40 to access. While you're here at UB, you paid for nothing. The libraries do this for you, so please use our services. So 2 things that I really want to mention today is number 1, Delivery Plus. So while we have thousands of subscriptions here to databases and journals, there are some things that we don't actually own or have access to. However, if you come across one of those items, you can request it through Delivery Plus and we'll get it for you and it will cost you nothing. We can get you journal articles, book chapters, books, theses and dissertations. You can actually get physical media like DVDs. All of these things we can get for you. So when you go to the health sciences at Abbott Library homepage, on the right-hand side towards the top, there's a link for Delivery Plus. You can go in there to set up your account. It takes like 30 seconds to do. As faculty, if you ever do get physical items, such as like a book or physical media, they'll actually deliver these items right to your office. You won't have to leave your office. You don't have to come see us in the library. It'll come right to you. So you can request these items through Delivery Plus. If it's a journal article or book chapter, you'll get it electronically. We have here that it's estimated to take 3 to 7 business days, but honestly, sometimes when I request an article in the morning, it comes through a few hours later. So it's pretty fast turnaround. It's a wonderful service. I highly recommend it. And then the other thing I also want to recommend to you is something called LibKey Nomad. What this is it's a browser extension. So it's available for any web browser that you use. And what this does is you install it in your browser. And then all you'll have to do once you install it is it'll ask you for what institution you're associated with. So you just select University at Buffalo. And from there on out, it will know that you are associated with UB and it'll connect you to our full text subscriptions. So if you are a person that is in the habit for like instance of going directly to PubMed's site to do your research, if you install this plugin, PubMed will always know that you're associated with our institution and it'll link you to our full text subscriptions. It's honestly, it's super awesome. If you're someone who uses something like Google Scholar or just even Google to do your research and you land on a journal website, LibKey Nomad will still work to connect you to our full text subscriptions. So you won't ever get those pop-ups of like, pay $40 to see this information. This way it'll connect you to where we have the full text. And if we don't have the full text, it'll actually connect you to a Delivery Plus and auto fill out the form for you. So it saves lots of time. It's very fancy. I'm a huge fan. Check it out. We also offer a lot of library workshops. All of these workshops are available to you via Zoom. We typically offer them during the noontime lunch hour because it tends to be when people are not in classes or clinics. We do have some either earlier in the later of the day, but typically mostly during the lunch hour. So this is just an example of some of the workshops we do offer. They're free to attend, of course. So we have a workshop about discussing an introduction to systematic review, RDM essentials and best practices, tips and tricks on how to keep up to date on the research literature, and then EndNote, which I'm going to talk about briefly. EndNote is probably our most popular workshop. One of the things I can't recommend to you enough while you're here is to download and use EndNote. But to get to our list of workshops, we typically roll out workshops at the beginning of the fall, the beginning of the spring, and beginning of the summer. You just go to the library page and under research help, you'll see workshops and you can register there. So some productivity tools to mention, one of which is Browsine. So if you click, once you have these slides, when you click on this link, it'll take you to Browsine. It's essentially an electronic way to browse through all of the journals we have. Like it actually looks very pretty and it'll have pictures of the journals and what they look like. You can bookmark your journals of interest. And then every time an issue is published in the journal, you'll get notified when new articles are available. And so you'll have little shelves and you can save the articles that you want or save issues of the journal and keep track that way. It'll also let you know like how much back reading you have to do. I never show people what my Browsine looks like because I have like the 99 plus symbol because I'm very behind on my professional reading. But it's a great way to keep track of what reading is available to you. And then as I mentioned before, we also have EndNote. So this is citation management software. So I like to describe it as EndNote is magic. This is the way that when you're doing research, like you're getting prepared to write up your research and you're doing your introduction where you have your literature search, you're trying to keep track of all of the things you need to cite. So what you can do is you can save them in EndNote, and when it becomes time for you to insert those citations into your paper, you just click on the little like cite button and then it magically pops into your text as well as formats your bibliography at the end. It saves so much time. There's over 7,000 different types of citations available in there. So if you publish or submit to a journal, unfortunately you get rejected and you have to submit to a second journal and they have a completely different type of citation style. EndNote will fix all of that for you with the click of a button instead of you spending hours reformatting it. So when you have the slides, you can click on that link to EndNote and get directly to where you can download it. And then below, there's a link to our EndNote research guide. We also have a lot of research publishing and support available. So some of the things that we're available to do as your librarians, so you can meet with us and we provide all different types of research consultations. We can help you find the best places to search for literature as well as tools that are available to you. We can provide instruction on those tools to either your research group or if you're teaching a class. This is something we do all the time. The workshops I just mentioned, we're happy to teach those to a group upon demand. So you just contact your librarian or contact me and we can set you up. We can help with finding the actual literature as well as teaching the skills to you, your research group, your students, etc. We also teach critical appraisal of different types of published research. One of my favorite things to tell students is like just because it's published doesn't mean it's good. So that's one of the things that we can help with as well. And again, as I mentioned, citation management with EndNote. If you come across a weird issue with EndNote, instead of spending all your time trying to figure it out, just contact us. We have probably seen it before. We spend a lot of time with EndNote. We can also help you with your scholarly publishing. So if you're trying to find a place to publish your research and you're unsure where to go to, we can help with that. We can also help you evaluate journals. I'm sure many of you on this call have received the emails that are like, greetings, Dr. So-and-so, become an editor, submit your work to this journal. We can help you determine if those journals are actually good places to publish or perhaps places to avoid. And then we also have lots of resources and tools for research data management, which I'll talk about shortly. Okay. So one of the things I did want to talk about are different evidence syntheses. So many of you on this call may be familiar with systematic or scoping reviews. Librarians are search experts. It's what we do. It's what we love to do. And if you look at the guidelines for systematic and scoping reviews, it is recommended that you partner with a librarian on these projects. When you're doing one of these reviews, part of your methodology is creating a robust search to find any and all evidence that could answer your question. So this is something we are definitely geared to do. Because of this, we have an evidence synthesis service. So we provide 3 different levels of service where we can either provide like a consult, a one-time meeting, consult plus is a couple-time meetings, or we can provide team member service where we're a co-author and collaborator on the work. The librarians are very involved in our systematic and scoping reviews. We have an intake form on the second page of the guide, which is linked here if you're interested. Just one thing I should say is that due to overwhelming demand, we do have a wait list up at this time. I believe at this point, we're not taking on new reviews until the new year, but can collaborate, or excuse me, we can consult on reviews at this time. I think I have like 12 reviews I'm juggling right now alone. Also, I should mention research data management. So if you have any research data management questions, please reach out to our data services librarian, Jocelyn Swick-Jemison. She's fantastic. So just some of the things that she's available to help you with. If you have to create a data management and sharing plan, so I know these are required for any NIH grants at this time. And if it seems a little confusing, Jocelyn is here to help and can try to provide guidance on how you can approach this. Research data management best practices and guidance. This is also something Jocelyn here is available for. We have the All of Us Researcher Workbench. That is, I won't get into it now because I know I'm short on time, but we're available here to help you. If you have any questions about how to use the workbench, getting access to it, we can help with that too. There's the DMP tool, which is the data management plan tool. Jocelyn can provide guidance on that. If you're looking, you have questions about where you should store and deposit your data, we do have access to Dryad, which is available. It's a generalist repository. And last but not least, and this is something all of the librarians can help you with, I strongly urge everybody on this call to get an ORCID ID if you don't have one already. It's an identifier for your publications, and it helps with tracking, creating, like providing a comprehensive list of all of your publications. And also it lets us know it's you and not a researcher with your name. Highly, highly recommend get an ORCID. Okay, and so last but not least, just anytime you have questions about anything I've just gone over, we're your friends. Contact us. We want to help you. This is what we're here for. Please let me know if you have any questions. We're so excited to work with you. And with that, I want to say thank you for your time.
So Liz, we do have a question in the chat, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So Dr. Sisto is saying, can the library key and EndNote differ between Chrome and iOS?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Can the library key and EndNote differ between Chrome and iOS?
For EndNote, you can download either for the PC or the Mac, if that's the question. And if the question was about libkeynomad, you can download that for any browser, Mac or PC.
Okay, she's saying libkey.
Libkey, yes. Yeah, you can. So
Right.
I saw there was a question about where do you get libkeynomad. If you just Google libkeynomad, it'll pop up in whatever browser you use. So I use Google Chrome. That's like the first thing you see, and to install it, what it looks like is a little green teardrop in your search bar. And then once you have it in there, it'll let you know that you're connected, and you just have to put in that you're associated with the University at Buffalo, and you're off to the races.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you so much for your time today and for such a great presentation.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And any questions, please contact me.
Yes, I will point out that the Delivery Plus is a great service because I have used it, and sometimes I got the PDF like within an hour of requesting an article. So that was fantastic.